And welcome to my house. Come on in and relax. You have tuned in for this week's best week ever. I have so far made 11. This is week 12 of this year's best week ever, which will culminate in the best year ever. I documented week by week and I let you know what happened in my week. And so let's talk about it. The way I break it down is something new, something challenging, something funny, something deep, and then of course something beautiful. But before we do that, before we get in there, welcome. Just enjoy yourself. Let me tell you a few things that are going on right now. One, well, we'll talk about it. I think you can see something obvious, but we'll talk about it. Two, it's I today I felt very inspired to do smell-o-vision, so I was like, they need to know. You can never smell me, but I do like to come on smelling good, even though you don't know. So today's smell-o-vision is brought to you by this is Dead Cool Extra Milk. So this is a perfume that I really like. With this one, I usually just do one spritz, maybe two. Like it has a really good atomizer, like compared to any perfume I ever had. Usually other perfumes are just like, but this one's like, so I'm like, and I'll be like, and then with this one, when I got it, I got a combination, and this is mochi milk. So this brand, Dead Cool, I think I first was introduced to it in Sephora, and then I liked it, and I really like a lot of gourmands. I mean, if you can't tell, they're milky, creamy. I like those kinds of scents, sweet. And this one, even though it says extra milk, it actually definitely has more of a fresh scent to it. It reminds you of kind of like those fragrances that are reminiscent of like the unisex fragrances. So a man or a woman could definitely wear this. But it's light. It reminds me of, what's that one scent that was like an old school unisex scent? My aunt really liked it. CK1, like CK1. This kind of has like a upgraded version of CK1 vibes. What's going on? What's up, Larisha? I'm going over Vision today. So this one has like an upgraded version of like CK1 vibes. That's what this smells like, but it's a little sweeter, a little lighter, and I would say it leans more towards like a feminine scent, even though I definitely feel like it could be unisex. I think, but then I add mochi milk on top of it, just a little squirt or two, and that kind of creates that sweet, creamy scent. And mochi milk, just here, these little caramel, little lactonic vibes, sweet, maybe a little rice. It's really, I really like that scent. So them together, so that's what I'm wearing today. Usually when people smell me when I wear this, they'll have, it's like they think vanilla mostly. So I like a lot of vanillas, but I like my vanillas to be a little complicated. So there we go. So this is, so that's my Vision today. So you can't smell it, but maybe, I'll work on my ability to describe it. And yeah, because I like to come in smelling good. Y'all just don't know it. When I'm in the house, I wear perfume when I leave the house. I definitely do, but I love scents in the home, and I usually like it on me. So, okay. Let's see what else. Today for tea, I think I have, this is a tropical mango moringa green tea. That's what we have today for drinking, tropical moringa green tea. And I think that's all my equipment that I brought in today to bring this video to you. That's very good. I might need this a little bit because I don't think I had my water intake that I usually do before I get on. I drink a lot of water before I get on, just so I don't feel too like dry. But right now I'm like, All right, so this is the best week ever. I'm ready to get into it. There's something obvious, so we're just gonna talk about it right away. Something new is new hair. Who this? So I've been on a mission, and so like here you go. Like this is what it looks like. This is like the length in the back. Kind of see. Yeah. So that's like that's the hair. I've trimmed my locks substantially, and then I curled them too, to kind of give them a little something. And then I haven't been able to wear this style in forever. So that's a really exciting thing. A little halfway up, halfway down, little ponytail, rest down. Oh my God, I haven't been able to wear this style forever. So this right here is a very exciting moment for me. Well, let me tell you about how we got here. Um, so my locks I've had locks for a very long time. And so this is also like, they're so dark. Oh gosh, there's so much I want to tell you about my hair. Uh, but I've had them for a very long time. I've had them for, oh gosh, now that part I wouldn't, let's see, a long time, over a decade, of course. Probably more than I'm gonna say a decade and a half at least. Okay, I'm one of those people who I don't count time like that. I told people last night some funny story that I kind of just made up. Someone said, "What's the last time you were in a relationship?" I have like this, like I do like these benchmarks, and I'm like, I hope it's close. I don't know. I don't pay attention. And I'm not gonna sit here being ready to like recount things for people. I'm like, that's not a good use of my time, right? So So when it comes to my hair, I've had it for a very long time because I haven't wanted to comb my hair for a very long time. So that's kind of the way it happened. And oh, you said frankincense is okay. I love frankincense. I really do. I really do. Well, we'll get into scent more as we go along. So I want to bring the scent. So right here, what happened was these locks have, and I think was it this side that I cut shorter? Maybe I forget what. No, I thought it was this side. Or maybe it's this one. It doesn't matter because when you have locks, you can kind of play around. But I might trim it a little bit. We'll see. We'll find out. But what I did was they had if I never cut these babies, I'm pretty sure I'd be one of those people with down to their ankles. Okay? May not have that much hair in my head, may not be healthy, but I'm just saying if I never cut it, then that would be the situation. That's what that's what I think. So that's pretty much, if you think about it, that's how long I've had them. I might be dragging them. I have no clue because I have trimmed them like over the years. And the way that I've trimmed them, like at first it was just a little trims here and there, but now when I think about it, I've trimmed a lot. I consistently used to trim my hair different ways. Sometimes there was this moment where I liked all my locks be very loose on the end, so I would take a little like a safety pin and undo them. So I have been kind of like doing these trims for a long time. But one of my dreams, before I even had locks, um, was to have a certain kind of look. Well, I would say no, not before I had locks, but when I was like, okay, what do I want? What's my vision for like the most beautiful locks? And there was this beautiful dance teacher, and she had these locks that were like super thick, which will never be my journey, but it doesn't matter. It still inspired me. They were like the super thick locks, and then they were like cut in this like asymmetrical style. So for me, my dream was to have like locks that I would eventually cut. Now, how I was going to do that, I didn't know, but and then, over time, maybe like create my own look or create my own vision or kind of have a look that I like. So as I started growing them out, I also want to have long locks. So I achieved that goal. Long lock, I've been the long lock woman for quite some time. So my locks were, I would say consistently, I kept them to either pretty much at my butt crack or a little past it, right? Because I remember saying, "Oh, I'll never let them grow past my butt crack because ew." And then before I knew it, I'm going to the bathroom and I'm swinging them over my shoulder, to go to the bathroom, and that became a normal thing for me. Or and then I have scarves. I don't think I have my scarf here, but no, I don't have a scarf. Then I have scarves that are so big because I would essentially go like this, just lean back like that, loop them under, and then hold and then tie them up on my head so they were actually being held. So I had all these mechanisms, and so then I will say last year, and so and then when I started dancing, I did trim them a little bit, but still I hadn't trimmed them that much. I just trimmed them probably, about here. Like, so you see what I'm saying? Maybe just a few inches above them. I mean, I thought I was doing something, but I just trimmed them a very little bit because at that point they were past my butt. And so I trimmed them up because I was like, oh, I want to dance. That's not going to work out. So that's when I trimmed them about right here. So that felt substantial because it was still about 10 inches, So I was like, oh, okay. So I've been doing this whole long lock journey for a while. And then It was cool, like, it was cool, it was exciting, I was a long lock person, I achieved my goal, and people were like, "Is it heavy? Is it this?" I'm like, you just grow with it, you just grow with it, and I would say that. And then I think all the dancing and the movement, you get hot, like, super, super, super hot, but I was still trucking, still going, and then I found myself adapting more, maybe going to certain classes less. I wouldn't really go to classes as much in the summertime, like, there were certain things I was doing really adapting to my hair. Like every decision that I was making was based off of my hair. And I'm like, you kind of have like pay attention to that. I'm like, your identity is becoming your hair. And maybe that was, I don't know if that was getting to me, I don't know. But what happened was I would say, did I do it before my birthday? I think I don't know. I think it was a little afterwards. It was like just when it was starting to get a little cool. I at 4 a.m. and then I just chopped it off. I did a pretty big trim. And yeah, I went on video. I'm like, I trimmed it. But you couldn't really tell because still it was probably about here. So it still had a certain kind of length. And my front pieces had never been that long. So you wouldn't really know what's going on back here. But now y'all see it. I really did. So then on Friday, I was like, after work, because I was gonna wash my hair, and I think it was I was gonna wash my hair, and I just didn't feel like it being a hard time. I was like, I don't want to have a hard time doing this. So I went into the bathroom, got my scissors out, my trusty scissors that I've had forever. And I only use these scissors to cut hair. I got my scissors out when I went like, and I was like, ah. Didn't feel bad, wasn't shocked. I was in perfect peace. And I was like, so I just started cutting away. And then I had to watch these like tutorials on how to cut like, curtain bangs. So I kind of gave myself a little curtain. So that's what I'm kind of playing off curtain bangs. I discovered how to do a little bit of layers. So I do have a little bit of layers going on. I did it all. I did it all in this swoop. I had ponytails. I was doing it all. Everything you could think of. I was cutting my hair like it was loose hair. Couldn't tell me nothing. I still think it's probably a little off. Oh, it's not too bad, girl. You living your life. No, it's pretty good. So I mean, I felt good. Then I curled them because that's the cool thing about when your hair's a little shorter, it curls better. It holds the curl a little bit longer. Cause I really just want like a wave, like a little bump, and it's got it. I mean, I'm living my life if y'all can't tell. I am living my life. So I went out yesterday to debut it and it just felt good. We'll talk more about that. It's coming up. But that was my first. So this is the shortest it's been since it's been this short, meaning like this is the shortest it's been since it's grown since I started growing them. And so it's been so refreshing. It's given me like this there's nostalgia, there's excitement. I feel like I got I love this length. Like so even when it was this long, I was feeling good. And I feel the same way. I'm just like I just feel like I'm ready for summer. I'm ready because it's already 100 degrees outside. So I need to be ready. I was like I'm ready for summer. It feels lighter, better. I feel happier. I feel like whatever energy hair holds, I released a whole bunch of it. Like I just let go of the crap. Look how dark my hair is. Like this is crazy. This isn't dyed. This is just my hair color. And this is hair that has not been really touched by the sun. So my hair dyes, it bleaches very easily in the sun. But because this is Arizona, I find that when I've lived in other places, I'm out and my hair will get really light, like light, light. My locks, I remember them being, especially the front pieces, might have been almost like bleach blonde. I'm not kidding. And my hair will do that. It's because I have fine strands. So it's not like it's like a magic potion. I got fine strands. My hair is a brown. It's a true brown color. And then once it hits the sun, that sun bleaches it out. So, but because I mean, it feels so nice and moisturized too. Um, but because I don't mess around with the sun like that. Cause one, it's funny, I was just talking to a friend yesterday, like, we ain't trying to get cancer. Because black people can get cancer. And I'm like, because this sun is different. I'm like, I'm not playing around. Like, I'm not taking these kind of risks in life. Um, So because of that, my hair is actually, this is it. This is like the truest color that I can have. So it looks different too. So it's like even though it's the length that it was, it just has this healthier look. It has this like, I don't know, like rich look. I feel rich, y'all. I feel rich. I feel better. I think about who I was when I had this length and then who I am now. I'm like, oh, you coming with the fire. You have things that you didn't have before. Like I just feel on top of the freaking world. So it's amazing what a hair change can do, but I just that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. So so let's see. So okay, Larry says locks seriously have a mind and life of their own. It's cool to observe. The locks be letting you know what they want. They for real though, right? It was pretty much like, and I will say that it they speak to you in the middle of the night. They speak to you like because when I'm telling you when I've gone to these scissors, there's no thought behind it. It is just like I got up, got in the mirror, and just started going. Got up, got in the mirror, just started going. I was like, there was no like contemplation. I didn't have any deep thoughts about it. And then when I was done, I was like, hell yeah. I feel so much better. So we're gonna see like how long I'll let them grow. But now y'all know I'm enjoying. I enjoy the options. Like I cannot believe I get to wear this style. Do you know how much I've been dreaming about this style? I've been taking up pictures with this style. I love this hairstyle. I always felt so cute. I feel cute. I feel alive. I feel just free. I feel so free. Okay, okay. Let me calm down. I'm very happy. So, yeah. The long lock, I love it. I really I'm on my like India Re. I'm not my hair. Okay. But I do appreciate what's on my head and I do appreciate that I've learned to take care of my hair. I appreciate that I've learned how to nurture it. I learned how to water these roots and take care of my hair. And I was talking to my hair yesterday and she was like, "Yeah, I like this." And I was like, "Okay, me too." So we're happy. We're happy. And so I'm gonna, I'm just happy to take care of what I have. And I think it's really important that you do that. So there we go. Whew, I'm very fortunate. Okay. With that in mind, let's keep on going. Ooh. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah. And that's the other thing. It was like trimming your regular hair. Like when you trim your hair and you just feel like that health again. I'm like, oh my God. It feels okay. I'm just so happy. Get rid of that dead energy. Okay, so and hair definitely holds. Like if people act like it doesn't hold, I mean, I used to lie to people and tell them it didn't hold, or no, I don't know what they're talking about. And what I mean by, but it wasn't an intentional lie. I just didn't really understand it until I did this, and I'm like, nah, for real. Like I feel liberated. Don't know from what, but a whole lot. I feel very liberated. Okay. So, also, so this something new. This is the first full week of me getting my steps in before 9 a.m. Except for like the weekends, but first thing in the morning. So, yeah, I do my steps now. Like I just wake up and just get going. So in the morning, I'm either writing, whether I'm working, whether I'm doing my French lessons. Like this morning, I did all my French lessons. I did all my writing. As I told you on my weekends, I do my writing a little bit longer. For the weekday, I typically will get my French lessons in just before, like, kind of, I do one usually during lunch and then I do another one kind of like at the end of the day. So, because one I can easily do during lunch, but yeah, but I get everything in. So, it's been so much better. I have time to myself, time to think, time to feel, time to be. This has changed the game for me. It has changed the game. So yeah, very excited about that. Um, like just this full week, this first full week this way, I'm just like, ah, I just feel better. Like it was the greatest, one of the greatest investments I've ever made is in a walking pad. That's all I gotta say. It is the greatest. So if you guys are, "Oh, should I get a walking pad?" I mean, I will say I definitely in my mind did it right. And what I mean by I did it right was I really kind of I worked up my stamina to be able to walk consistently for a good period of time. I worked up my stamina or my ability to be able to do multiple things at once so that, I'm not just walking, I'm working, I'm writing, I'm doing all these things. I'm doing French lessons. I'm talking, I'm listening. I'm doing all this stuff. And so, it really multitasking in that sense. I always say there's no such thing as multitasking, but nah, there is in this sense. You can move, like, you can walk and talk, you can do that. You can work and walk. And so that's been really a game changer for me. So I had worked on that craft. So I can say I was wrong. You can definitely multitask. It's just there's certain things you can't multitask, but you can definitely multitask. And so I have become a multitasker. And it feels good. It feels good. Now, I just have to say this because I think this is very fun. In French, now you guys, if you don't know, my screen says things in French, but I can always translate them. And so certain words, like I know, right? But this one is new, and I need to know what it translates into. So first, I'm going to tell you what it says in English. I know what it's saying, but I want to know what you'll understand what I mean. So it says multitash a gogo, multitash a gogo. So what is that in English? Like, what did they translate that from? Multitask away. Multitasking away. That's pretty dope. Multitask a go-go. All right, you learned something in French. So now, if you ever say like, dun away, be like a go-go. Y'all got your French lesson today. All right? All right, there we go. There you go. That is so cool. And then cute is mignon. Ooh, mignon. Like filet mignon. You could say mignon, mignon, like cute, mignon. All right, that's your other French lesson for the day. Mignon, mignon. Add that to your lexicon. Just be that way in front of your people. They'll be like mignon. You gotta add that. Mignon. I'm all about slang. I love to know like the slang of the language. Okay, so then Latin night. So then we did something new, and that was I really enjoy this about myself. Like I saw this thing. I really like going. I like a small town vibe, and so in like a small town, there was a Latin night. So I was just curious about it. So I enlisted Juanita and then another friend, and I was like, come to my house and we'll caravan over. Right. So they came to my house and we caravan over to this like Latin night. And so I saw it very briefly. So when we get there, get out of the car and parking was great. It was nice and simple, free. This is what I'm talking about. This is kind of joy I appreciate. Free. They really do things right over there. And then I walk up and I'm like, ooh, they're chairs. Nice places to sit. I was really into it. They actually had chairs out. And I was like, oh my gosh, a live band. This is actually cool. I'm like, what? Is that food? My friend looks over at me and she's like, did you even look at the flyer that you shared? And I was like, no, I did not. I just knew it might be a nice thing. I saw what day it was. And so I said, let's go. Cause I'm like, I knew I was gonna enjoy it somehow. Like, what more did I need to do? But she was kind of like shocked that I didn't like stare at this flyer. I'm like, no. I'm like, you looked at it, you said great. I said it to Juanita, she said great. So clearly y'all were okay with what was on the flyer. And I clearly was too. So what do we so no, yes, this is new to me. This is all very new to me. And then I actually looked at the flyer. I'm like, oh, it said live band, it said vendors, it said okay. I was very excited. I'm like, she clearly doesn't know that Continental Breakfast is my favorite skit from Key and Peele. And so if you've seen my favorite skit, then you pretty much know he's amazed by these ordinary things. And so I love that. It's still, I need to watch it again. By far, it's one of my favorite things to watch, just because of that level of amazement. So I was having my own continental breakfast moment. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. Like it was whoa. I don't know. I was very happy. Like at first I just enjoyed every aspect of one. This is a very, very fun fact. This is something that they don't even know. I have always avoided driving. Always. And I don't like to have multiple people in my car. She was probably the first person to sit in any of my vehicles in the back seat, and probably the duration of my whole journey of having a vehicle, because that's how much I avoid it. So it was very special. So they don't know I'm over here having a special time of my life, like every aspect of it. Like they don't understand like how big of a deal it was for me and how happy I was and how joyous I was inside, for this like new thing, like I am having the time of my life. For something for them that was probably like normal, I'm just like losing my crap. Just beaming full of joy, like bursting inside. And they're just like, we're just going to a little event. Like, you have everything they said that's on the flyer is there. And I am just like, from the beginning to the end, I am like pouring over inside, about to just, the cup is over freaking flowing. And it just doesn't stop there, by the way. So we get there and we're chilling. And when we get there, I see these like bugs like on the ground and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm about to get bit up. But no, they didn't bother me at all. So that was beautiful. So I was like, man, another beautiful thing. I was also really cute. I had this white dress that I gotten from Aerie. I like that place if you don't know it. I see it in the mall. Remember, I mall walk. So some of my stores, you may not know them if you don't go to the mall or if you don't see it. But I like the Aerie store. And every once in a while they'll have like a really good sale in the back, like 75% off. And when I was buying clothes, every once in a while I would go back there and see. And so I got in this really cute dress. Um, there it was white and just a simple white dress that fit really nice, like form in the bodice that honestly I would not have been able to wear. I don't think when I got the dress I would have worn it in public yet. So I have forgotten I even had it, but I have kind of gotten to my, I've started to lose. I lost a significant amount actually when I think about it, of weight. And so compared to where I was, I think when I got the dress. And so when I put it on, I was like, oh my God, oh, I can wear this dress and it looked nice. And so I was once again, I'm over the moon. I am feeling myself, feeling like I'm wearing new clothes, even though I had that outfit for a while, that dress for a while. I mean, I'm just like, I'm just, they don't, they don't understand what's happening inside of me. And I am just like over inside. I'm like, just the joy, right? Feeling myself. My hair is cut. I'm in a cute dress. Man, you can't tell me nothing. Like, you can't tell me nothing. That's where I was at. So then we were kind of hungry. And so my friend, she was like, well, I'm not really hungry, but she kind of knew we might go get something to eat. But we went and got some food, and I wasn't sure what we were gonna get. Juanita knew some of the restaurants around, so she's like, "Oh, well, there's something here, something there," and I was like, "Okay." And then she's like, "Well, do you want to go here?" Because she knows I'm a sucker for British food. Love your friends. Oh, Juanita. You know, I complimented her on just the selection because I was just so happy about everything about this little restaurant. I know it sounds weird. I know you just heard that I was a sucker for British food. You're like, what? Who likes British food? I do. Honestly, I know it sounds weird, and I don't know if that's just like some of the ancestral. This is me making the best of my ancestral blood. Me trying to like, I don't know. I don't know if it's me coming through and thinking about what happened in the past and trying to this is how I've made peace with it. I have no clue. No, I'm that's a funny line, but I think really what it is one of my friends, of course, has passed. She was British, and so I think that was maybe there's that connection. Yeah, because that was the first time I ever tried it, but that's not true. I've been to London 2 times now, and I have enjoyed my time. Like, okay, I did have some horrible food. I had some Thai food in London, and that was disgusting. Some of the worst food I think I've ever tasted in my life. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. But other than that, I truly have had like really good food there because of their cultural influences. So, anyway, I mean, they did use some of them spices. Like they did use some of them spices, y'all. Like they didn't just terrorize everybody. They did use some of them, you know? So and terrorized everybody. So the food I kind of like it for some reason. So the food that I've had, and one of the foods I like are pasties. I say all that to say I like a good pasty. And pasties are if pasties are really just like an empanada. It's like a what's another kind of version of that? It's pretty much like a turnover. It's like a what do Italians make that are a calzone, okay? So it's really just like a pastry, like something food in a pastry. So the key to a good pasty is everything in there complements each other and it tastes good, and then you have a really nice crust. That's a key to a good pasty. You can't really mess that up, can you? Like, and then you need to salt it well. So, this place we get there, and all it has a whole it has so many vegetarian options and vegan options. So that was really what sold me because I am so used to never having food for me or having a few options when we go out. I had a whole section and so many choices. I was like almost overwhelmed with the choices. The interior of the place was darling. It was beautiful. It was like so good looking inside. The bathroom, the women's bathroom was pink with the most beautiful tile. Like it was just so cute. Like I'm just telling you, there was just so many, like everywhere you looked, I'm like, this is great. The seating was open seating. You didn't have to wait for someone to take care of you or like seat you. The people were nice. They were kind. Well, there was one a-hole apparently, but we avoided her. We left her. And after that, it was smooth sailing from there. It was just like, I was like, this is great. And I gotten a cottage pie pasty, and it was like vegan kind. So they use like kind of like the impossible meat, and it was like peas. So it was peas, carrots, mashed potatoes, a little bit of cheddar cheese, vegetarian, and the impossible burger and the cottage pie. Then they make their own homemade like steak sauce. Oh, I'm telling you, bomb. Bomb. It was so good. I enjoyed every morsel. So that was mm, mm. Did I write that down? It was something new. It was something amazing. So we went, so remember, we went to Latin night, but we're in Britain right now. I know. But we got a little hungry. But we all said we're gonna have a little ice cream afterwards. So we go, but we had listened to music for a little bit and they were switching over bands. And I think we were just like, we probably want to get something to eat. We had time. We got there a little early. So we had time to go get something to eat and come back, and then enjoy the rest of the night. And they were switching bands, and also like it was kind of warm out. So it was nice to it was still warm because it's ridiculously hot outside yesterday. And like we're just gonna sit there. So we just got up, and the people and there wasn't really crowded. There weren't a lot of people yet. People were starting to come though. So we go and have that wonderful meal, and then we come back. We come around the corner. The music is going. We hear things, and then we look around, and first off, live music, and the people are dancing in the street. Oh man, I wasn't supposed to say that, but that's all. They're dancing in the street, and I can't tell you that yet. Shh, shh. Just know I had a good night Latin night. I'll get back to that part. I can't say. All right. You'll know why I can't say it. Forget what I said. Just forget it. Forget it. Forget it. Let me keep moving. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, woo, woo. Just let me keep moving. All right. Something challenging. All right. I'm switching gears now and we're moving into something challenging. But all of that was something new. Okay. Something challenging. Let's dig deep into something challenging. Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay. I had an interview. I think last week I told you, oh, something was exciting, but maybe I didn't say what it was because, I didn't want to talk about it yet. But I had an interview. And this was for a job that, this is why it's something challenging. It's for a job I'm very qualified for. And it felt like the next stage of my career, or if I'm going to grow in this area, it felt like the next stage. And I I was feeling so nervous. Now, even when I applied to that job, I applied at the very last minute. It was like, super late, but that wasn't new for me, but I did it. Then the next day I get the interview. So the next day after me applying, I find out I get the interview. Now, you know how many jobs I applied for and never got an interview? Like plenty of them. So when you do that, you don't really think of anything. But when you get the interview, you're like, oh, I got it. I scheduled the interview pretty much like the day before, like the last day of the interviews. Cause I'm like, I just want to be the last one. I I feel like either I have a chance to be memorable or they'll already know who they want. It doesn't matter, but I kind of just wanted to be last because I didn't want to have to wait another week to find out, if you got the job or not. So that was like the way I was kind of managing my own like emotions and everything. And then I was preparing for it. Now this is where things get interesting. It was the first question. My friend goes, "Why do you want the job?" And I was like, "More money." And that's really it. I was like, and she's like, "Well, do you want to do it?" I'm like, I didn't. The thing is, I didn't really care about the job. I just wanted more money, and I know that that can be a perfectly fine reason to do anything, but that's not. I guess it's not. That's not where I am at. I'm where I'm at in life right now. And so that was like kind of the first thing. So, but I was like, okay, well, can you kind of like let me know what this job is and everything? I knew I was equipped. I was equipped to do like just the mechanics of the job, but I needed to know like the details. And so she kind of gave me an understanding of what it was, and I wanted to know like, and I got the information about it. So I started doing the research, and I'm like, okay. So then I researched for this job to understand the process and how things work. My end Even now I'm like, I had no interest, but I tried. I tried to get myself like interested in the process. And so I did research it enough to understand what it was, what it would entail, what kind of work would it entail. And as I did the research, I'm like, oh, this is pretty much like what I do, but just in a different way, you know? And the information is pretty much what I deal with, but also just differently. It was almost like kind of like the opposite. It was like kind of a switcheroo, if you will. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'd make more money. So I was like, all right. And so I was like, I should apply for it because that just seems like the natural thing to do. Um, and okay. And then I have other reasons too. And the other reasons I won't say just because I just going to keep that part, just keep that stuff private as far as just, I don't need to give that many details about my job. But I had other reasons too. Um, and so, but none of the reasons were like, this is my dream job. This is what I'm passionate about. It wasn't. It was just more of like, I have the skills. It's more money, and who knows. That was kind of it. And I thought that'd be enough for me, right? I'm not talking about for the interviewers. I'm just saying for me. I thought that'd be enough for me. But then the interviews start to come up, and I was anxious all day. Never have I been this anxious for an interview. Maybe a little butterfly here or there, maybe whatever, maybe just a sense of excitement, but never as anxious as I was. Like, I hadn't felt that way in a long time. Because I even told my mom, I'm like, I haven't had, because I mean, I had the digestive disturbances and everything. And I remember feeling that way. I mean, went to the bathroom like probably 3 or 4 times. It was just crazy. Okay, whole digestive system was reset. My whole adrenal glands were reset. I was everything was in shambles. I was just in shambles. My body, I'm jittery, the adrenaline, everything. I'm like, what the hell is going on? The stress level was so high. And then and I said, I've had, you have like a sense of maybe anxiety or nervousness when you have a job interview. I think that's normal. But this was pretty intense, right? Pretty like, just like, there was something going on. And I was like, gosh, what's going on? So I said, well, you know what? It'll probably go away once you're in the interview. You've done plenty of interviews. You know how to interview. You know the whole concept. You get in there, you want to say your points, you got to be able to respond to those little silly questions that they ask. And you want to have your examples and all that. But also, I'm different. One of the questions that they asked that was when I knew. I was like, you can't this it was weird. The question was name two name a situation where you had to prioritize one thing over the other. I didn't have anything good because I prepare. I'm a professional. And I know that sounds wild, but I haven't been in dire straits like that. I haven't been in a situation like that in quite some time because I prepare. I really believe in get ready so you don't have to get ready. Be ready to adapt, be ready to flex, be ready to shift as you need to shift. And so me being in this situation, like, I'm like, I don't know. The way I really wanted to answer that question, like, I don't know. Like this isn't how I work. This isn't how I do things. And if you're telling me this is how y'all do things, I don't do things this way. Like it's never that. It's never like it's just not. It's more of, oh, we're gonna do this now. All right, cool. All right, I'm ready for that. Oh, we're gonna do this. All right, cool. I'm ready for that. I could barely answer that question because that was really the answer. I'm like, if you just gotta shift, you just shift. Like, what do you mean? You just figure out what the priority is and you just go there. It ain't hard. What are you trying to do something? You can't do two things at once. Let's have some freaking logic. But this is how I'm thinking inside. But yeah, I'm trying to be in this interview, right? And this is their real question. But at the same time, I'm trying to be in this interview because if they're asking this real question, that means they feel like this is a part of what the work is. Like I created interview questions. So I know why you create questions because you're trying to get answers that will relate to the job and trying to figure out this is the right person for the job. So I've been on the interview side, I've been on the interviewee side. I understand every aspect of this whole freaking thing, right? Um, from the leadership side to both. I get it. I know what it means to hire someone, and I know what it means to interview. So listening to these questions, I'm just like, well, I know why you're asking, but I don't operate this way. And so that was when I realized I'm like, "Ugh." And then this is the thing, my anxiety never went away for this entire interview. Whereas in the past, it goes away eventually. There's just a moment of levity. There's something that you're just like, okay. I knew two of the people. So it wasn't even like I didn't know the people. And so I was like, what the hell is going on? And then after m- the interview ended and I kept on thinking the whole time, I did not, I wasn't myself. I'm like, you weren't yourself. I and I thought about how I would have really, my mind is going through. I'm like, that's not how you would have answered those questions. If you were yourself, you would have answered those questions differently. But the thing was that I didn't want to be myself with those people. I didn't, I was like, but my mission right now in my life is to always be myself. So there was something about them that I didn't trust. There was something about them that I didn't feel safe around. There was something that just wasn't right. So I was kind of giving this small little compartmentalized version of myself for this interview while my nervous system is on the freaking fritz. I'm sharing this story because I feel like this is a message for somebody out there. And if you don't use it today or tomorrow, this week, you're going to use it months down the line, or maybe even a year or two down the line. I know the value of what I'm saying right now because I know what it's meant for me. Something challenging. And remember, we're talking about the best week ever. So remember, this is still the best week ever, right? And that's why I make these videos. So I'm telling you this for a reason. So all this stuff is happening to me and I'm like, gosh, like what's going on? And it's crazy. I had a different interview in my head, different words, and I'm like, but I wouldn't have said that there. But in the job I'm in right now, if they were to interview me, I would say it there. If they were to interview me for something else, I would say it there. With those people, I would have said those exact same things. And I know they would have picked up what I was putting down. And I know how good I felt, how good I would have felt. Um, you don't hear me complain about my job too much. I have my frustrations every once in a while, but you don't hear me because I'm myself. I don't have to be anyone I'm not. I am in full bloom. I show up as me. That's who I am. And everyone else shows up as themselves. That's who they are. They have their ways, they have their thoughts. They're weird. And there's room for everyone, right? There's room for personalities. There's room for, I say some wild stuff. I use I mean, but where there's room for all of us, and we get to be ourselves, and we get to, you know, it's nice. And this situation, I didn't feel that way. And I just want to be clear, I have felt that sense of welcoming, that openness from the interview. So when I first started this and had the interview, it was the first interview that I felt, one, I was calm. I had the little anxiety like everyone does, but when I tell you it went away like that, it did. When I tell you, like, I got in there and it was so relaxing, immediately. This was an in-person interview, the one that I'm saying I felt so good in person. This one was camera. It was just over the camera. You know how easy it is to have, to me in the past, to have a interview over a camera? Nobody knows what you're doing. You can just be over here doing whatever. But this situation, it wasn't like that. I was like full of anxiety, full of everything. And I remember, and I started to kind of remember the difference. I'm like, you were not yourself, and you didn't feel safe to be yourself. So that stuck with me. It was something it was challenging me. So then the next day, I knew I'd hear from them very soon, because it's one of those things where I just knew. I knew the HR person that they were working with, and I know how she works. I know how efficient things are. Once again, I've been on the other side. I know how quickly that process goes. So I knew that whoever was going to get offered the job was going to find out either that day or the next day. And so I didn't hear anything, so I kind of knew. But I just want you to know, the next day, my nervous system is now reconfiguring. I wasn't even thinking about the job. And then finally, something told me, I'm like, oh, you didn't get the job. And then I opened up my email, and sure enough, there goes the email. And it was like almost like right on time. I was like, all right, cool. And I had to tell, like, a few people who were invested in the process. And then my mom, especially, mom was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm really okay. That was a part that shook me. I'm like, what do you mean you're okay? You're not a little sad? I'm like, not really. I'm like, I'm kind of relieved. And that's when it hit me. It hit me like really hard, that I'm like, something's different. I'm different. What is going on? What is going on with this whole thing? Like, I was really have this like an existential moment, right? Where you're just like, whoa, what's happening? This is not the formula that I know. What I know is you apply for a job because you want the job. If you get the interview, oh my gosh, you interview. And then when you get the rejection, you are crestfallen and you're ready to roll heads, and you don't know what to do with yourself, right? That's the formula that I know, me personally. That's not what happened. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, thank you. And it was because in all those thoughts that were racing through my mind, I knew that I was so anxious to get the job, meaning if they had offered me the job, I think it would have been the first job that I would have ever had to say no to. I've never, I've never been in a situation where I wanted to say no. I'm like, can we run this back? I'm glad I went through the process. I wouldn't change it. Like, I would not change it, because this knowledge that I have right now is something I had to have, but it was the first job I would have said no to, because there was there's other value that I'm experiencing that this job just wasn't offering, and I wasn't really willing to sacrifice it. And it's hard because I wanted more money. I wanted more money. And I guess, in this situation, money wasn't everything. There was so much more at stake. So much more at stake. My my sense of peace was at stake. And that was like kind of like when it all hit me, I'm like, this place, your peace was being disrupted. And not my comfort. I'm talking about the peace. I'm not saying about being stagnant. You know how they say, change can feel a little hard. I'm not, it's not that I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to grow. Like y'all see me growing every day. I'm doing these all this stuff that I'm doing is all growth, right? I do a lot for my growth. It's not like I'm staying stagnant. That wasn't right. It wasn't right. And so it kind of hit me of like what I was going through. Let me take a moment and read the comments just because, yeah, thank you. I hate those questions too. The questions are so just dumb. Yes, let's see. Let's see. Anxiety flutters are my warning signs. The nausea, weak knees, etc. I'm hoping this year I can get out of those. Ooh, this one doesn't give me the whole message. Out of those places. Let's see. I have to read the part. Yeah, and do different. Oh, I get it. And of those people who provoke those reactions, absolutely, you need to. Make those moves, baby. Um, Lovely. The coins will come. I agree. I agree. The realization, yeah, it was priceless. Absolutely priceless. I It shocked me though. This is like a different level, different information that I'm getting. I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? So the stress, all of it, that was like very challenging for me. But the relief that came, I was like, okay. So we'll get to the other parts of it in something deep. So don't worry, we'll pick this back up again. Something also challenging that happened was we saw a friend yesterday, and someone haven't seen in a long time. Real sweet, very interesting personality, love her. She's but unique. We say hello, hug, and all that. She starts eating her food. She had ordered some food. She's eating it. She's enjoying it. And then I was like, all right, y'all, we're going to go. She rubs my arm, just real, like, nice and sweet, right? And rubbed chicken crumbs into my arm. That was a very challenging moment. I just felt like I needed to tell y'all that. Hope you appreciate that. That's it. That's all I got. It was just challenging. Sometimes challenging doesn't have to be that, I don't have to go all in. I'm just trying to let you know. It was very challenging to have these crumbs on my arm. I was like, why she just rub crumbs on my arm? Chicken grease. Y'all know I'm a vegetarian. That happened. And then my other something challenging was I tried to do paint by numbers. Not trying to. I'm doing it. When we get off, I'm going to go work on the paint by numbers some more. But that is something challenging. I don't know if you ever did paint by numbers, but it's challenging. It's very challenging. Like it's very detail oriented. This one, it's like these little dots. I'm like, why am I doing this? Once I get it done, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to do paint by numbers ever again for the rest of my life. That's one. And then two, I'm not going to hesitate on my paintings that I want to do because what the hell? But I'm going to complete this paint by numbers. I need to go through this exercise. So it is something challenging, but I'm going to complete it. So you might see it show up again next week because I can already tell you it's something challenging and I'm going to work on it this week. So it is what it is, but it is a good exercise. It's almost like, hey, you're an artist, you know how to paint and you're effing around procrastinating on painting. So I'm going to teach you a lesson. So I'm teaching myself this lesson. It's something challenging. Challenges are good. All right, something funny. Afro Man. I don't know if y'all watched this, but if y'all didn't, almost people were coming to me with it, right? So Afro Man. That story was funny as all get out. It really was. It was so funny. If you guys don't know, Afro Man, mostly known for the song Because I Got High, at least in the United States. I will tell you this. He has had a more lasting career overseas. That's what people don't know. But he, of course, is known for Because I Got High. And he, and that was what he's known for. but he has still been making music and he still have been touring. Because just because they may not be in like the mainstream, people if you have friends, if you have people who follow you, they follow you and they like what he does. And so he was still doing his thing. He was enjoying, making a living. He wasn't like super baller rich, but he was doing all right for himself in the sense of that he was able to live, right? Doing his craft. And so in his home, he had his whole studio set up. He had everything set up. Okay? And apparently, I think he was away. I don't know if he was on tour or something. And he I can't wait to tell you about this. They robbed his house. Well, okay, that's a harsh thing. That's an allegation. Maybe he didn't. He says they did though. They took things from him. So anyway, someone said that he was having kidnapping victims in the house and he had some kind of wild drug ring. Okay, we don't know who this was, but he's living somewhere. I think it's Middle America. I don't know if he's in. I still couldn't figure out where he was. I think it was Ohio. I think it was Ohio, but he's living somewhere in Middle America. If you know anything about Middle America, you know that these drugs are rampant around, these different populations, small towns especially. So you don't know all the weird stuff that's going on in those little small towns, and he lives in one. And so he lives in one, probably has a little bit of land, a little bit of comfort because that's where he can afford it, right? And he's probably from there a little bit, his family and friends, and there's comfort there. So he's just living his life with a little bit of money, just trying to do his thing, make music, go on tour when tour is available. Okay. He has probably his own little world, little routine, but it's a stable life that he's able to make for himself. Well, they said that someone said that, like I said, kidnapping victims and whatever, and the whole sheriff department, without doing any real investigation, they went into his house and pretty much, my earring, pretty much just raided it. They did a raid. Now, this raid came up with nothing because he didn't have kidnapping victims and he wasn't having a elaborate drug ring. He just has a song called Because I Got High, but he didn't have any of that stuff. But he had cameras, and those cameras covered a whole lot of this information. He describes actually sitting, when he found out that the cops were there, he just sat down in like a parking lot and just watched his cameras and just watched this whole thing happen. And in this raid, there's a few funny things that happened. One, they were looking in his coat pockets and all this. Remember, kidnapping victims and drug raids, and they're flipping through coat pockets and jackets. And then they're looking through CDs. Remember, kidnapping victims and in a drug ring, and they're going through CDs. Then they're looking because You gotta find evidence. You either gotta find people or you gotta find the drugs, right? These are the main things that you're looking for. Yeah, there's like auxiliary evidence and everything, but the way they were doing this just looked kind of silly. Then there's a lemon pound cake that's on the counter, kind of covered in a nice little cake dish. And by the way, his kids and his wife at the time were there. And they are coming with AR-15s. It's like a full-blown operation, knocking over his gate, busting his door, all of that. And he's like, what's going on? Right? Hold on. So he's pissed off. He's pissed off at what's happening. Yes, I think they did. They did think they were going to get something. This is the best part about it. And he decides that for everything, I think he ends up talking to one of the cops, like, am I under arrest? He's like, no, 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 you're not under arrest. He's like, well, you're going to help me with my door. And he goes, no, we don't do that. So once he heard that ignited his anger, his fire. And he said he sat down and he started writing all the things that he was angry about. Everything that pissed him off about the whole situation. So from the busting his door down to looking for these big important things through stupid stuff, just the raid in itself without them doing any of the real work, the people that were in his house, the people that his family and his children were being exposed to. So some of these are, dirty, what he believes to be dirty cops, what he believes to be, like just the trauma, the fact that they cut his cameras off at some point. When he found out who cut his cameras off, then she became someone that he was going to go for. So he found out their names. He found out these are the people that are in my house. Like, I didn't. I never wanted you people in my house, and you shouldn't have been in my house. So he's pissed off at the fact that there were people in his house that he would not have invited on his own. There was one of the officers who, when he would drop the kids off, because the officer would be, you drop your kids off to school, there might be like an officer. This particular one was never kind, and this was also the one that cut off the cameras. And so he was like, "Oh, I will never forget you." He called her Lick 'em Low Lisa. He one person, he said Randy so and so is a son of a bee. That's just a title of a song. The song that kind of set it off was Lemon Pound Cake. Now I want to be clear, these songs, Lil C's songs, were made in 2023. But he was making these songs just expressing his feelings. So here, this is the thing, to kind of like cut it short. If you don't know, he won the case. The cops got mad, they got butthurt at these songs, and then they tried him, embarrassed themselves even more, made us learn these songs that we didn't even know existed, right? Except for the small group of people probably in the town, just a few people here and there. So many people did not know they existed. Now he's got millions and millions of views on these songs. These cops are now famous, and they made themselves famous by being silly. They should have just mind their own business. They thought they were going to get some money out of him. They thought they were going to do something to this man. They sued him for defamation, and all their reasonings were stupid. Like, if don't mess with people with access to recording equipment and musical equipment. Don't do it. Don't mess with people with access to artistic mediums, because they're going to make art. They're going to make art out of their pain. That's what artists do. You silly, silly people of the world. If you see an artist, walk away. If you see an artist, walk away. This is the message of the day. Because if they have access to creative things, they are going to get their feelings out. And that's all he was doing. He's just creatively expressing his feelings. They're talking about defamation of character. No. Because there's one where the guy, he said that he had made love to the one of the officer's wives. And the officer is on the stand. He's like, "Well, did your wife cheat on you? Do you believe your wife cheated on you?" I don't know. You know, so what's the problem? Because they kept on saying there's all this defamation, right? And he knew he got tripped up. Because, like, if you're so confident that your wife didn't cheat on you and you're so clear about it, then you know that this is just artistic creation. So this was a great case for support of the First Amendment. And if you just want to laugh, it was funny. These songs were funny. You're talking about some of these songs were 20 minutes long. You had some of these like 20-minute long songs. The outfit that he wore, and that was the thing that kind of sealed the deal, because they're like, well, people will believe him. They're going to take him serious and all that defamation of character. And they're like, look at this man. And this man's got on like this like American flag suit. You're really going to just take everything a man who wears a suit like this as fact? What are we doing? And honestly, like, look at him. He looks like he's here for a good time, just enjoying life. And he said, I was a sport. They mistreated me, and I tried to make, a good time out of my bad time. Like, his reasoning was always very clear. He always repeated himself. One thing about this dude, I'm like, even if you know his music isn't that complicated. He lets you know why he does something and what happened as a result. That song, I was going to do this, but then I got high. I was going to do this, but then I got high. Yeah. He's so simple. So my thing is, I'm like, this man pretty much said, y'all hurt my feelings. You disrespected my home. And now you're about to get these licks. And that was it. And he just went for it. Y'all, if y'all have time, if you want some entertainment, go look up, it's OG Afro Man, I think on YouTube. And just watch. He has playlists. Just watch some videos. Funny as all get out. And he's using real footage. Like, the quality of the songs are even just kind of like, Lemon Pound Cake. Lemon Pound Cake is a good place to start. I had my little crafting group yesterday, and we did that. And then they bring up, one of the girls brought up Lily Allen, Brit pop star, who kind of like fell off because she married some guy. This is white people's business. I don't really know too much about it, but I was listening, trying to figure it out. I was like, okay. And she did something similar. She pretty much did a whole album that talks about that relationship. And I'm like, another great example of don't screw people over. And now she's having a whole resurgence of her career. Don't screw people over who have access to creative equipment. Like, learn something, people. So very, very funny. I really enjoyed I just enjoyed the whole thing. Okay. So yeah, y'all got he everything he was doing was clowning them. There you gotta see these videos. It's like wild, some of the stuff. I mean, just the way he did it was absolutely hilarious. I'm like, So I was tickled by that. That was like some great entertainment, but it was also a big win for First Amendment and just like kind of, like we know what world we're living in. So it was really great to see him win that because I think it's important that one, we remember we can say the things we want to say. We can make these jokes. These jokes, we can crack off these jokes as we should be able to. This is part of our First Amendment, right? And freedom of speech. So here we go. Something deep. Whew. All right. This goes back to this my interview and everything, and that is I discovered so much about myself through this whole process. I mean, even the Afro Man process, which is why I kind of wanted to come back. This man was being his authentic self, and being his authentic self, everything has given him this amazing boon, right? Everyone, being himself, just being himself, people are into it and they're loving it. And so he's just a good example of what that looks like. And I'm kind of glad that it came about because that interview, like I said, I didn't feel like my full self. And it kind of hit me. And I was talking to my mom, and this is where we kind of get into it. I was like, mom, and if it wasn't my mom, it was someone else, someone who I talked on the phone with. So whoever it was. Hey, Chicatet, what's going on? I remember you. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Okay, let me talk here. But something deep. I was talking to one of them and I said, I'm picking everything in my life the same way I pick a man. And that is, you cannot disrupt my nervous system. And if you disrupt my nervous system, then I just know it's not right. One of the biggest things that I learned, and I learned this in therapy, I was going down, just like my understanding relationships and all the different, and kind of like going down like, okay, how did you feel here? How did you feel? All the different feelings that I had. And so much and we are taught this. I was taught that I kind of thought if I felt that anxiety or those nerves, that meant I really liked that person. Or and every time it was my nervous system telling me, get the hell out. You gots to go. And so then my body started to find other ways to tell me. So that's why I'm so sensitive to scent. I'm sensitive. There's all these different ways. Scent is a big one. There's certain words that are also triggers. So I have like a lot of different things that will trigger an exit really fast. Like, ooh, you gotta go. Cause it's almost like, well, you didn't want to listen to this. And we gave you this first thing. But my body will tell me. And I've been learning to listen to my body a lot. And so this time it was a perfect example. But I think I associate with people. I associated with people and I didn't, meaning like relationships, friendships, I didn't understand that it wasn't just that. If we go over that triple demon saga, talk about energy, like weirdness, um, the second one, I didn't see it as much, but the first one, definitely, the energy was always a little off, right? For me, second one too. And I've noticed that my friends that I'm cool with, it's like I just feel easy, chill. There's no disturbances in the force. It's just like, it just feels like that. Um, at work, I have a good time. I can tell, I mean, true. At work, I can tell them people are lying. I can tell them people are up to no good. I can tell a lot of different things. But it's not, I'm not just completely on the fritz. This particular place, this situation, this was telling me, yeah, you got to pick everything in your life according to your nervous system. You need to pay attention to what it's saying. And if it's on the fritz like that, it ain't gonna work, right? It's just not going to work. And so that kind of hit me, like that really dug deep into me this this week. And so I wanted to talk about it in something deep because I realized how much that concept is pouring into every aspect of my life. I think I read this book. I did read it. The Body Keeps the Score. It's a pretty popular book. You probably are familiar with it or you heard about it before. If you study psychology, if you study the body, you know, if you ever done any healing work, you'll know that it's in the body. It's in the body. I can tell what's going on in someone's life by their body, right? And so if you know that your body will hold traumas, your body holds your whole story. If your whole body's on the fritz, trying to do some wild stuff. For me, my body was trying to eliminate everything it could. It was like, it was like going through a self detoxification process that I didn't initiate, other than I guess applying for that job. I guess I started that. But it was like this big revealing of like, okay, who are you? What do you want? Who are you? And I've always said this, and this is now we're getting to toilet talk, and I haven't done this in a while. So if this is your first time on this channel, welcome to Toilet Talk. I do it every once in a while. I get into it. I always felt after a really good bowel movement, everything's clear. Your mind is clear. Everything is clear. So I told you I had plenty of them before I had that interview, and everything was clear. There was nothing in the way other than my body letting me know this ain't going to happen. This isn't right. This doesn't work. This isn't aligned to us. This isn't it. And I felt that way about people. I felt that way about different situations. And so this kind of hit me. I'm like, I never thought about it from a job perspective or a career perspective. And now I realize I can apply it to everything in my life. I'm picking everything in my life according to what my body is saying. And me saying that might seem obvious, but now I understand how serious I am about it. Like it's a true commitment. I've said this probably since the beginning of the channel. If it doesn't fit, you must quit. And I say that because I think it's one of the most beautiful mantras that one can have, but it grows with me as I say it. It continues to develop and blossom within me. And it just got to a deeper level for me. I'm like, yeah, like that wasn't, but I was so happy that everything responded in line, and meaning I also just felt peace. I didn't feel any sadness. I didn't respond to it as like, oh no. It was more like, thank you. I felt relief, and I was able to know that I felt relief. And so anyway, it felt really good. So that's my something deep and then something beautiful. Remember I said, oh no, I can't say this. So after we went to have our pasties, and we come around the corner back to the event. It was a wonderful, beautiful outdoor event. We come around the corner and we see people dancing in the street, like literally dancing in the street. It was so cute. It was so adorable. And I looked over and I thought to Juanita, and I'm with her, and she's always like, like she's always complaining about socials. Like she doesn't always enjoy socials. She kind of feels like, why can't we just dance? And my attitude has always been like, no, like, what do you mean? Why can't we just dance? Like, what do you mean? Just like out here dancing? Like, no, I want to dance with some skill. She's like, no, like with everyone vibing. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, like what? Why can't we just like have fun and dance? So we come around the corner, and it was that. It was like, and it was multi-generational too. You're talking about family with their kids, like it was everybody out there just dancing. And I was like, this is it for you. I'm like, this is what you've been talking about. She's like, yeah, this is it. And I'm like, this is cool. And we enjoyed it. We enjoyed the scene. And honestly, it was like this, it seemed like it was like out of like a TV. Like it didn't seem real, honestly. Like it felt like we were definitely in a simulation, and it was all just like orchestrated for us because it was just so particular, But this is where I still think it's beautiful, but it's also kind of funny. And it kind of goes to something funny. So I'm like, well, here it is. And in my mind, I'm like, I still feel the way I do, right? But I'll tell you why. As we get around the corner, as we come back, we got ice cream, really good ice cream. I got cookies and cream, and it was like homemade, delicious. I forgot what she got. It looked chocolatey. And then I think my friend got mint chips. So everyone got something different, and we're just enjoying. And I look over, and this man comes around. He looks like he's a little unhoused. Okay, he's got like a little gut. Teeth are doing something different, and the kind of gut where you feel like this might be disease related, a little bloated. Something's off. His coloring is different. He looks unhoused because he's definitely a white man, but he has a different color, the kind of color that looks like you might be out here in these streets just trying to survive, just trying to make it. And he comes up, upright. I think it looks like his shirt is like soaked with sweat. And he just asks politely, "Would you like to dance?" To Juanita. My answer was no right away, sir. No. How are we dancing? And she was like, no. And then I say no. And this man worked his way around. He asked probably about, and everyone's like either trying to point to their husband or their man or, oh, no, not right now. Everyone's trying to do that. And he got one lady out there. Then we decided to get out there. I'm cracking up because I'm just like, this is point one of why I rather dance with people who take classes, right? Because one, respectfully, they can afford the classes. Two, there's a certain level of decorum that you're going to have. One, how you carry yourself, just a lot of different things. And then three, the other point is what we see actually out there. The floor is concrete, okay? It's concrete. There's no dance floor. It's just everyone's dancing in the street. As I said, we're talking about asphalt. He's trying to turn someone. He's trying to do this lady who said yes, poor lady. She's like, for the plot. That's probably what she was thinking, right? He's trying to turn her and do all kinds of just crazy stuff. He's not on any rhythm, not on any beat. There's no coordination. He's doing things that can definitely hurt her. He's got two arms, just doing just wild stuff. And she doesn't know what she's doing because honestly, guess what? They didn't train. And she doesn't know there's no skill level. And this man has no damn clue that you shouldn't be doing any of this on some concrete. And he's really trying to like partner dance. Someone, would you like to dance? And that is my point. Now, I'm glad that she got her visual, but it's not practical. This whole cute little thing, when people want to dance and they can't really dance, you can hurt each other, right? And honestly, it's dangerous out there. And the level of discernment, the other thing is now this, I don't know if this is class. I don't know what this is for class. It's not really. It can't be classes. I don't know what it is. It's something. I know it's something. You might add an IST to this, and I'm going to survive. I will survive this judgment. I will. I'm going to survive this judgment with grace and aplomb. It is, you get to dance with people who match your talent and skill level. It's safe. I'm talking about safety here. So whatever judgment you have for me prioritizing my safety and the safety of my friends and family and loved ones, judge me. It is safer to be able to dance with people who know what they're doing and doing it in proper locations where your body is more likely to be taken care of. Meaning the floor allows for spins. You have the proper shoes on because you have taken enough dance classes to know that you're not going to dance with just any old kind of shoes because you want to protect your ankles and you want to be able to. All this knowledge that we acquire by spending our money, by going to dance class, doing all of that pays off for several reasons. Our safety is the top one. And that creates more pleasure. So, Juanita, I didn't say this then because I was holding it in. Because I don't want to spoil the best week ever for you. But trained dancers win again. They win again. The visual was cute, but you know how dangerous it was out there in those streets because you said no to one of the most dangerous aspects of that night. I'm tickled. I'm tickled. I'm tickled. Thank you. As our bodies age gracefully, we don't need unnecessary doctor visits. I'm taking care of my body. I ain't playing around. I'm not out in these streets like this, all in these impractical ways. Like, what in the world? What in the world? Yeah. No, 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 no. Choices have to be made. That's why we go to classes. That's why we pay for classes. There is some luxury to it. I got to admit it because you can afford to pay for the classes, but you're paying for the classes because there's a quality of life that you are looking to live. You are paying for quality of life, not just that cute visual. Because I'm telling you, it's beautiful. When oh, look at the people dancing in the street, and then you got this homie. Would you like to dance? No skill level, busting that woman's ankles left and right. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. All right. Was this the best week ever? Man, this was a pivotal week. This was a powerful week. This was a week unlike no other. This was indeed the best week ever. I gotta say it. Like I mean, how can I not? This is wild. Like when I recount these weeks sometimes, like I was like, how I will say it, like I'll be midweek, I'm like, how is this the best week ever? Like when I was sitting on the couch, like, yeah, I'm chilling. Oh yeah, I didn't get a job. I'm all right. At that moment, in no way did I think that was the best week ever. When I was like, and I knew it's funny because I knew what I was going to do on Saturday and all that. I was just like, something special about this. But when you actually live it and you know that you're having the best week ever, I think that something happens inside of you or me in general, and that I enjoy it even more because I understand how powerful my word is and how powerful it is what I've dictated over me. So there we go. Hallelujah, hala magic, io mvunya. Indeed, indeed, this is the best week ever. And I am going to skedaddle. Let me make sure I read the last one. Woo. Yeah, we're gonna send out our thoughts and prayers to all the people who are out there dancing without skill level when they need to. Okay. Dead cool. I'm spelling it now. It smells so good. All right, I'm gonna go about my day, and I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for the thumbnail. Something light, something easy, something breezy. I think I just want to enjoy my hair. And I will see you all next week. All right. You guys have a great week. Enjoy your week. Let me know. Did you have the best week ever? What was a beautiful element of your week? Remember, sometimes it's the culmination of it all. It's amazing. All right. Well, thank you. I'm thankful to be so fortunate to be able to share this with you all. And I'll see you all next week.